Black, Poetic G. Beautiful love, always carry.
Y'all rich. What's that? A fucking Slumalachi pocketbook? She said it on it. You know you rich when you sit the pocketbook on the chair. Like it's too good for the fucking floor. This shit belong in a chair. Y'all know. See where her pocketbook is? Fuck that pocketbook. She don't give a fuck about that pocketbook. Back in mom days, you couldn't sit that shit on the floor. You know what that means, right? Your ass gonna be broke. See, no. Mom, where your pocketbook? Like, God damn. Mom got her fucking pocketbook on a hanger, bitch. Fuck all of y'all. Mom bought a portable fucking hanger.
Good evening, ladies and gents. I'm King George. I am the owner of T.Y.I Productions. I am the curator of Black 31 magazine. Today we are here with another special guest, another special brother from the community. This brother is definitely a premier comedian from the city. This brother right here has dabbled in so many different characters within the comedy industry. This brother right here is a phenom that's hitting those levels in the comedy stage. Whoa, listen. This interview right here is about to be very, very impactful and very, very insightful. And we're going to get some laughs and some good times in. So without further ado, can we please give it up for the brother, Tommy Too Smoov. Let's go.
Yes, yes. Thank you. You forgot about my lunch with Jesus on Tuesdays.
Oh man, how you doing, brother? How you feel, man?
Man, my motto is loving life.
Yes.
Every day I'm loving life.
Yes.
Every day.
I love it. So let the people know, who is Tommy Too Smoov?
Tommy Too Smoov, the world knew me first as a rap artist. And then they knew me as a songwriter, and then they knew me as a singer and a producer, and then they knew me as a comedian, and then they knew me as an animation artist.
Yes.
Then they knew me as an actor, scriptwriter, editor, motion graphics. So if I had to wrap it all up, I'd say I'm an artist.
Yes, I loved it. And let us know, what is the greatest thing about comedy that you love?
The greatest thing about comedy that I love is being able to project what I feel inside out. I know I feel good, and when I think of these jokes and these scenarios and things like that, they make me feel good.
Yes.
And I get to project them with what I was made out of, and it makes it effective. Whatever I'm made out of, it makes what I say effective.
Yes.
So with that in mind, what I get out of it is, the greatest thing about it is being able to share what's going on in here with everybody. And I know it's effective because I can look at their faces firsthand.
Absolutely. Characters, right?
Yeah.
Diving into the different stages of characters. Luciano.
Right.
Gangsta Jimmy.
Right.
Another character you had, what was that character that you had? It was a special character too.
You want me to run him down?
Jack Johnson.
Jimmy Jack Johnson. The redneck sub bitch. And I'm just keeping it real.
Now, what was the greatest thing about playing those characters? And also, could you give us an insight of those characters, of each character?
Well, I grew up in foster care, group homes, foster homes, things like that.
Okay.
And while my brothers were like A personality, can't wait to get outside. My brother Tony ran ball like Michael Jordan before there was a Michael Jordan.
Yes.
Jimmy was just out exploring because he's an explorer. I was an introvert.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I was content with staying at home and learning me.
Yes.
I read a lot. You know what I mean? I created a lot. I used to do puppet shows for my brothers with socks.
Yes. Yes.
You know what I mean? So the characters go way back to 5, 4, 3, because each one of the socks had a different personality.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So, you know, I guess the characters came from meeting people in my lifetime.
Okay.
People who I thought were interesting.
Yes. Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, you meet people all the time, and sometimes you look at them like, wow, what is their life like?
Absolutely.
What do they go home to? You know, and like, so for each character, there's some of the characters I created just being silly, just coming like Fat Meat Freddy. I went out and bought a fat suit. And, you know, I got some country clothes and I went and got on the L and just rode around and seeing how people reacted to this fat country dude.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But most of them come from real people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Do you have a favorite character that you played already?
It's more like, what's the character's favorite time to consume me? Because some weeks I'll wake up, like I'll just wake up out of the blue, like, how you doing? I'll answer the phone like that. I'll just start talking like that early in the morning. I'm Louis Stick 'em Up Luciano without even thinking about it.
Yes.
How you doing? Yeah, is breakfast going on? You know, you got some scrambles going on. What are you doing? Huh? Get the bacon popping. What are you doing? And somebody clean my Slumalati glasses.
Absolutely.
So it's like from day to sometimes I'll wake up, I'm the country dude. Sometimes I wake up, you know, and answer the phone. I'm, you know, Lula Mae Parker. Hey baby, how you doing? You know, so I'm silly like that, and everybody that knows me, they kind of expect a character when they call. If I'm not a character when they call, it's like, okay, what's wrong with Tommy?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Musically, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know that you are a huge music fan because you said that you were once you were an artist, or you still are an artist.
I'm still an artist.
Still an artist, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let me phrase it. You still are an artist, and hip hop legends, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I heard this story before, but also we want to hear the story again. What was the dilemma between two great legends that I love, Michael Jackson and Tupac?
See, we did this interview, and on the interview, it was untold, and on the interview,
Yes.
I told this story that I heard while living in L.A.
Yes.
And the group of people that told me, is 2 actors and a comedian,
Yes.
and they told me this story.
Yes.
And in defense of Michael Jackson, the conversation kind of went like, oh, you know, Mike is soft. No. Let me put it this way.
Yes.
You got $200, right?
Yes.
And I tell you, you have to bet on one of these fighters
Yes.
in this match they're about to have.
Yes.
Now listen to the breakdown, because your year's salary depends on it.
Yes.
In this corner, we have Michael Jackson. Grew up with a father that used to box.
Yes.
Very brutal, hardcore father that made sure all of them were men.
Yes.
He also grew up with 5 brothers. Now, I don't know if you grew up with brothers or not, but I grew up with brothers. Brothers will knock your tooth out over a chicken wing tip. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So this is Michael and where he grew up. Plus, it's in Gary, Indiana, during the gang war days.
Yeah.
And that's who you have in this corner. Let's not forget that vicious Cobra Kai kick he got. You know what I'm saying? Now, on the other end, you have Tupac Shakur. Didn't grow up with any brothers. Yes, his background was in the Black Panthers, but that was his mother's background, not his.
Yes.
He grew up he had one sister that he grew up with, and he went to the School of Performing Arts for poetry. In fact, if you met him before Juice, you wouldn't recognize the Tupac we know now. I have mad respect for both of them,
yes.
But if you had to bet your money on these, you don't know nothing about these two dudes, but that's how I presented it to you, who you think's gonna win that fight? Mike's 6'2"?
Yeah.
Tupac like 5'8", 5'9"?
Yeah.
Now you tell me who you think gonna win that fight.
To me,
Yes, idealistically.
I mean, obviously it'll look like Michael Jackson, but sometimes looks are deceiving.
They are deceiving, but here's the thing. It's like they came to me with this story, and because it was three of them, I had to believe it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like all three of them are telling me this story. It was one dude, I was like, you had a little too much to drink at that party. But it was three of them, and they all kind of backed each other up on the details and things like that. So I did an interview and I told this story,
Yes.
and the internet went berserk, man. They went berserk. I mean, people started throwing me threats. You know, you can't talk about the dead like that. You know, you gonna die. You never know who will take you out for saying something like that. Well, I know what city you live in. You know what I mean? 'Cause, you go to Oakland, they don't play about their Tupac at all.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I love Tupac. I love that dude.
Yeah.
But this is the story, and all I was doing was telling the story that was told to me.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Comedy, right? I hear that you are involved within a new comedy series,
Yes. The Funny Lane.
the Funny Lane comedy series.
Yes. It's
what's
going to be awesome.
What is the Funny Lane comedy series all about?
The Funny Lane comedy, the Funny Lane is a media company me and my manager, Dame Carter, set up. And we're going to filter content, like television-worthy content.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, we're taking it back to, you know, the Living Colors, our City Hall stage, but we're going to add the newness to it.
Yes.
You see what I mean? We're going to bring what we consider to be entertainment.
Yes.
You know, it's going to have a lot of my character work in there. We have a lot of scripts, a lot of ideas, game shows. I mean, we went deep. So it's kind of like, if you wanted to call it something, it's kind of like a network.
Yes.
And eventually that's the end goal, is to get a network and set up the whole Funny Lane Comedy Network.
Absolutely.
So this is the beginnings of it.
I love it. I love it. I got a good question. Who are some of the inspirational comedians who inspire you? Besides yourself, who inspire you? Who's some of your favorite great comedians?
Okay, so because I am an artist, I don't look at any of us as being one better than the other, one more extreme than the other. I look at us like superheroes.
Okay.
You know what I mean? We just all have our own way of saving people.
Yes.
So Bernie Mac, he'll use his voice and his stories to get you.
Yes.
Whereas though a J.B. Smoov is very physical. And it's his physical, the visuals from his physical that get you.
Yes.
You see what I mean? Whereas though a Dave Chappelle, he will pick it apart and show you the pros and cons of it.
Yes.
You see what I mean? So each of us have our ways of delivering our opinion of what the world is.
Yes. Yes.
So when I look, to me, there are no totally bad comedians or totally good comedians. Each one has something to teach me, to inspire me with. And sometimes it's what not to do. I can look at a comedian and see what not to do.
Okay.
He's not engaging in the crowd.
Yes.
he's not using his voice and inflections.
Yes.
He's got too much fat in his jokes. And it'll keep reminding me, cut out the fat, engage the audience.
Yes.
You see what I mean? So every time I look at a comedian, they have something to teach me.
Wow.
So in a sense, I guess they all inspire me.
That's a heavy answer. That's a very, very heavy answer. You hosted the Apollo.
The Apollo Comedy Club.
The Apollo Comedy Club. You hosted that.
Yeah.
Also, you also played in movies.
Yes, I have I think about 5 or 6 movies out now. White Men Can't Rap. That was with Clifton Powell and a bunch of comedians, a gang of comedians. My man Javon Pearson, he got me in there. Flash from the 5 Heartbeats.
Yes.
I met him in the parking lot walking into that audition. And by the time we got to the front door, he walked up to the director and told him he's in the project. Like we clicked just that fast, John Canada Terrell.
Wow. That's heavy. You met Flash. Flash.
Man, you ever hang out with Flash? I guarantee you the best time of your life. He's just so full of life and so much fun, man. That's my man.
That's cool. And it's so crazy because even in that movie, he's like full of that life. And
Right.
Yo, man, yeah, Flash is cool, man.
Right.
That's incredible. BET Comic View. You was on BET Comic View over 5 times. What was that experience like? And who are some of the other comedians that you actually got a chance to share the stage with?
I shared the stage with Cat Williams when he was called Cat in the Hat.
Okay.
I shared the stage with Cedric,
Okay.
Gary Owens,
Yes.
Mike Epps, Bernie Mac. I was a fill-in for somebody and they was doing a little tour and I did a couple of dates with them. And Bernie was quiet. He's a quiet dude.
Wow.
He was a good person to be around. He's social when he needed it to.
Yeah.
When he needed to be social, but he was a quiet dude.
Oh, wow.
And in fact, I found, I used to feel bad because, after the comedy show, I treat it like work. I go to work, do my job, get my pay, and go home. And it took me 10 years to learn that networking is a big part of this.
Yes.
And people started looking at me like, he must be conceited. He must think, because I was doing extremely well from the top.
Yes.
I didn't get my first boo until 3 years in.
Oh, wow.
So the comedians are looking at me like, who does he think he is? He just walk in here, stand to himself in the corner, and get on stage and rip it up and then leave. We want to talk to him. We want to hear what he about. We want some of that thing dripping off of him. He's selfish, man. And I would hear from other comedians, where it is, you hard to work with, you conceited. And just because you come in and like I'm focused on what I need to do and I study the crowd when I get in there.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I see who's on that front row. I see who's the loudest person. I see what everybody is wearing. I see what's going on in the third row over here. This dude, he drunk and tore down. I know he gonna start some stuff. You know what I mean? So I'm combing the room. I'm listening to what they're laughing the hardest at.
Absolutely.
Sometimes they laugh hardest when it becomes a personal thing, when you pull somebody into your act. Sometimes it's the sexual jokes. Sometimes it's the ghetto jokes. Sometimes it's the material. You know what I mean? So you gotta listen and kind of formulate what's the pace tonight. Every crowd as a collective has a pace, a conversation.
Yeah.
And if you find that conversation in that pace, you won't win every time. But each crowd is different.
Wow. You are really a studier of your craft.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I love art, man. For me, art is everything.
Yes.
Because when I got it, when I was being created, they gave me the ability to play a piano, to sing a note, to rap a rhyme. You know what I'm saying? To make a beat, to create a melody, to play chords. I never went to school for piano, but I knew all my life one day I would sit down at that piano and I would have my way with that piano. I knew it. For as long as I could talk, I knew it. And at 16, I finally got the chance.
Yes. Wow. Wow, at 16.
And I sat down at that piano and wrote 3 songs.
Wow.
Never wrote a song.
Wow. So you know how to play the piano also?
Right.
Wow. Wow. Any other instruments you know how to play?
No, that's it. That's all I wanted to play. Because with the piano, especially nowadays, you know, you can play any instrument if you know how to play the piano. You can play the drums if you know how to press the key. You know, all of the sounds are in the piano now.
That's true. That's true. That's absolutely true. When it comes to, I want to ask you a community question, right? And I'll dive back into the comedy, but I definitely want to ask you a serious community question. As we see what's going on, right, in society, especially all over Black America, but especially in the city of Philadelphia, how do you feel about all the gun violence that's plaguing the youth in our communities?
I see this as a much bigger picture than we've been led to look at. I think things like gun violence and things like that are set up as a system. So it's like, look over there while I do this. And if you don't believe this programming, besides talk shows, and it was game shows, you tell me what show comes on that doesn't either have them degrading each other, gunfight, or violence in it. How many NCISs can you make?
That's true.
And every one is pow pow. Every single one. Movies. You tell me which movie doesn't have degrading violence or murder in it. And go to comedy, come on.
Yeah.
But somewhere along the lines, they are doing or saying something inappropriate. We forgot about society and culture and like living to a certain decor, like living to a certain level in society.
Yes.
You see what I mean? The women have forgotten femininity. The men have forgotten masculinity. There were certain places for us that was set up for us to, function as a cohesive unit.
Yes.
But now they use the programming to take it all away. And the programming goes deep, bro. You have no idea how deep this programming goes.
Yes.
I mean, if I could really speak freely, what I would have to say would shock a lot of people. Because I've been blessed with knowing.
That's the truth.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
If I told people the earth is both round and flat, how would they accept that? Oh, I'm crazy now. Something wrong with them. But do you know that in every conversation that happens on earth, there is some degree of truth to it? So if the earth wasn't flat, how did we get to that? Like, where did that first derive from? So there has to be some kind of truth to it. Let's explore it. I tell you what, let's walk as far. Oh, we can't walk as far as we want to because there's an Arctic wall. So we will never know what's beyond that wall. Oh wait, we can go up and jump over the wall, but wait, there's a dome over us. And you say, okay, Tommy, now you're going too far with the dome. But I can prove it. If I take a piece of glass, if I take one of these glasses right here and we shine a light through it, and there's a reflection of it, right?
Yes.
What shape is that reflection going to be?
It's round.
Whatever the glass is.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so why are all rainbows in a bow? Because there's a dome over top of it.
Yeah.
And that is the reflection of that
Absolutely.
dome. So now we have an Arctic wall that we can't go past and a dome that we can't go up. What does that make us?
People living in the dome.
Maybe an experiment, maybe in a prison, maybe contained.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you look at it from that point of view, then what are we doing with guns? Where did they come from? We didn't start with guns. So someone of higher intelligence, someone with the ability to build a dome,
Gave us guns.
so now why would they give us guns?
You can wipe yourself out.
Let's rewind. Where do you say we came from? Where do black people come from?
Black people come from.
Yes.
Biblical answer or
Give me your answer.
where do black people come from?
Yes.
Be honest with you. My opinion is that I believe a lot of us black people are already here on this land. I believe we are all over.
Very interesting answer.
I believe we from everywhere.
Okay. So, why America? Why is America the strongest?
Money.
Money. Very interesting.
Money.
Let me ask you a question. And I hope you don't get in any trouble with this, what I'm talking. Just edit it out if it's too much. Okay, let me ask you a question. Okay. When was slavery? Like, what year? What did it start, per se?
When did it start?
Yes.
Start, not end.
No,
Start.
because it didn't end.
So no, it never ended.
Right.
I'm saying around that mark of late 1400s,
Yes.
1492.
When was the first cargo ship built?
I don't want to be wrong. I don't want to be wrong.
1640.
Okay.
In the 1640s. Up until the 1640s, all the ships were small personal ships.
Yes.
So how could you transport millions of people if your boat is a personal boat that can only contain the cargo for you to eat while you're on sea and the staff to run the boat? How do you ship millions of people? You know how many trips they would have had to take?
Exactly.
And how do you get that many people on that small boat? Exactly.
So we already been.
So let me tell you, right. We were already here. And they brought over the so-called Indians from Asia that was living in the mountains.
Yes.
They killed off all of the old heads that had the knowledge of who we really were. And they blended us up with them and just preached to us how all they knew was the stories of being brought over on a boat. So to a bunch of kids, they're going to take that story as their own.
Yes.
So if you kill off all the old heads, ain't nobody to tell you the truth.
That's the truth.
What's in the Grand Canyon they don't want you to see?
Something special.
Something very special. Proof that America is the first Egypt. And that all of the lands branched out from here. And that this is the Holy Land. And that when they first came here, there were names like Bethlehem and Judah. These were places in the land. Italy, in the United States, America, before it was America.
Yes.
These were places that were here already. Hawaii. They were all part of the mainland. So when it reached out, they just adapted the names. When they sold it off, you see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So all I'm saying is, you have to know who you are and where you come from and what's going on.
Yes.
You see what I mean?
Yes.
So to look at a gun violence, I had to do research and figure out why is it happening.
Yes.
You know what I mean? We got to watch what we eat and not just consume as food. You have to watch what you eat with your eyes. You have to watch what you eat with your ears. All of this makes you.
Yes.
If you listen to nothing but music that tells you to kill, eventually you're going to have the urge to kill.
That's the truth.
Remember, when hip hop first came out, what did people do with the hip hop music? Like, where did they play it?
Played in the inner cities.
Where at?
In the hood.
Where at?
You said where? In New York.
Where at?
New York, right?
Where at? In New York.
What was that? Brooklyn?
Where at?
Outside.
Outside.
Yeah.
In the park.
Yeah.
What did people do when they heard it? They danced. They partied.
Yeah.
They had fun. Because the music, the words, the intent of the music was projected onto them. It's like the comedy. I'm projecting laughter. They were projecting fun.
Yes.
Listen to the words of just rappers alike. Hip hop, hippity hippity hip hip hop, and don't stop the rock. It sounds like a nursery rhyme.
Yeah.
But now if you listen today, what are they projecting on people?
Negativity.
Murder.
Yes.
So which is another facet of programming. So now if I listen on the radio, murder, kill, murder, kill. If I watch on TV, murder, kill, murder, kill. If I go to a video game, murder, kill, murder, kill, murder, kill. How many murder kills before I start having those urges myself? When this is how I should resolve a problem. You see what I'm saying?
You're right about that.
That's all I'm saying.
No, you're absolutely right about that. I remember I had a conversation with a fella before, and I was speaking to him about how music has always changed people's thoughts. Music has always been an emotional,
connected thing.
Yes. And I was trying to break it down to him in a way. I'm like, listen, I'm like, in the 90s, people, they listen to groups like L.O.X., which I love L.O.X., but that programming taught you how to be a hustler. And then when you move to now, the programming with the music now, teaching you to not be a hustler no more, do all the drugs that the hustler have now. You do them all now.
Yeah, they went from drug dealers to drug addicts.
Yeah.
I'm proud of Moon. You know what I'm saying? My man MC Breeze, who is my mentor, and all of the things that I mentioned, except for singing and rapping, he put me on, but he also put me on Boom.
Yes.
Boom rose to fame because of what? A song called Pop a Perk.
Yeah, that's right.
And Percocets went through the roof. The sale of Percocets went through the roof after that.
Wow. Let the people know, right? Most importantly, what do you love most about yourself?
How creative I am. How I was made. I have ingredients that I don't see in a lot of people.
Okay.
You see what I mean? Like I still love people. Especially my people, but all people. I still like have a genuine, when I walk down the street, I want to speak to people.
Yes.
But you can't transmit something that doesn't want to receive it. But that's the type of person I am. I want to, if I got $5 in my pocket, I know I'm blessed.
Yes. Yes.
I give you my last $5. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
But only to who the universe tells me to give it to.
Absolutely.
And you talk to the universe, right? Yeah.
Great. Listen. The art is consistently growing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know that you are an artist. What's some of the upcoming shows that you have that that people need to be looking out for?
Ooh. Mother's Day is a big day for me. Tomorrow, which is, what's tomorrow's date? The 10th, is it?
18th.
18th. I'm
yeah.
gone. I'll be in Philly doing 2 shows. No, 1 show in Philly, one in Camden. It's an early show. Camden's an early show, and then it's in Jacobs, up Germantown Avenue. Saturday. That's right. Today is Thursday. Yeah. Saturday, I have those 2 shows. For the last 18 years, I've been hosting with the incredible King of New York talent, the Stress Factory in New Jersey, New Brunswick, New Jersey. Okay. Our next show is with Rodney Perry on April 27th. And we do it the last Sunday of every month. What am I forgetting, Dane? I know I'm forgetting a lot.
You got 19. You got the 9th, 10th, and 11th of May.
Yeah, Mother's Day is going to be a crazy weekend. Crazy weekend.
Yes.
I think 2 shows Sunday, a show Saturday, and a show Friday. So that's going to be crazy. But I tell y'all what, we can make this real simple if y'all just go to Instagram and go to Tommy_2 TOO _Smoov SMOOV. Everything I'm doing posted right there. You can go to the funny lane on IG. Check me out there. You want to see my animation?
Yes.
You can go to Tommy Tunes. You see what I mean? I'm doing a lot. So, I'm just trying to keep up with myself. If you want to know about my stand-up, it's at Tommy McMillan Comedy. You know what I mean? Or you can just Google me, Tommy, TOMMY, 2 TOO, Smoov, SMOOV. You see all of Michael Jackson you won't see, about Tupac and Michael Jackson. You'll see some of my animation. You'll see my characters in stand-up. You'll see some acting. You'll see some of what I do as an artist. So if you can get a chance, please Google.
That's heavy. Yes, man. Tommy Too Smoov. And advice do you have for specifically young brothers, right? Growing up within the community, right? And it's certain things that these young brothers need to know. First and foremost, how to be grounded in being a man. What they need to know to be successful. And third, what they need to know to pull out their inner creativity.
Okay. So everybody says, well, I didn't ask to come here, or I wasn't born with a pamphlet to tell me everything to do, a rule book.
Yes.
But guess what? This is your rule book, y'all. What you feel in here is never wrong. Never ever wrong. The best thing you could ever do to yourself is explore yourself, find yourself. Be true to yourself, don't lie to yourself. Take all those commandments in the Bible and make them first person. Don't steal from yourself. Don't even get in situations that'll cause you karma that'll have you stolen from. If you steal from somebody, karma says you're going to get stolen from. Don't lie to yourself. Don't sit there and tell yourself things that ain't true and convince yourself. Don't commit adultery. It's karma, y'all. So you go cheat with somebody else, one woman. When you get somebody and you fall in love with them, they're going to cheat on you. It's karma. And the only other thing I can say to that is Know what you're thinking, believing, and saying out of your mouth. Because all of that is creating your life. We all heard of manifestation. It's real. So you think, so you believe, so you say. See what I'm saying? The answer is right here. You don't gotta look nowhere else. Turn the TV off, turn the radio off. Get away from all of those people influencing you. Get to yourself and find yourself. And you be true to yourself, you'll never go wrong. I guarantee it. And if that don't work for your life, you can have mine. I'll give you mine. And that way you'll be loving life like me.
That's heavy. That's heavy. That's heavy. That's heavy.
Thank you.
Hey man, appreciate you so much, man. This interview was very informative, and the people needed this. Listen, y'all needed to hear this. Y'all needed to hear this. Y'all needed to hear why we actually brought Brother Tommy Too Smoov out to the studio. And shout out to Brother Dame too. Shout out to Brother Dame for.
Yes, sir.
We appreciate you. Listen, y'all, we appreciate y'all so much. Y'all know who y'all tapped in with. Y'all tapped in with King George, the owner of T.Y.I Productions, the curator of Black 31 magazine. Listen, we could have your favorite comedian. We could have your favorite poet. We could have your favorite artist. Listen, we could have the mayor. We could have the little girl down the street with the lemonade stand, or it could be you. So listen, each and every week, please tap in with us. And don't forget, go follow Brother Tommy Too Smoov and tap in with Black 31 magazine. We are the platform of truth, the home of the champions, and we are the place where we uplift man, woman, and child. Peace and love, y'all. One.
Attention, train your mind. During these times, we need more education, not incarceration, to elevate from negativity at all costs. Knowledge and power. Remember, this game spilled, given. Embrace it. T.Y.I, Poetic G. Peace and love, one. I love it.